Good evening. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here for our first concert of the year, our first fall concert. This is our 6th period symphonic band up on stage. I'm so happy to see such a big crowd here. I thought after the busy weekend that we had. I think I saw all of you on Saturday. We just really appreciate you being here. I'm just gonna tell you just a little bit about the piece that you heard. The title is Halcyon Hearts. It's based on a poem. I have some notes for you that is all about, well, if the notes work. And it's all about the human experience of love. So the poem is, love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It will always protect, trust, hope, and preserve us. For you, love never fails. The composer was hoping to depict through the music the human condition of passion and love and what that can do for all of humanity. That if we trust in one another and we maintain hope for one another, that beautiful things can really happen. So it's a really pretty piece of music. We've enjoyed working on it and preparing it for you. We hope you enjoyed it as well. While we're getting set up for this next one, I want to take a second and thank Mr. Paul Shepard and thank Ms. Wendy Ivy for hosting us here at Highland Hills because of the conflicts that we had at the Floyd Central Auditorium. All right, we have a selection titled Ancient Flower. I'd like to welcome to the stage my colleague, Ms. Jacqueline Johnson, to conduct this number.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Johnson, and this is the band director of Floyd Central. And I just wanted to personally thank you all for being with us this evening. It's so exciting to put on a fall concert before the end of October. And along with the two concert ensembles that you get to witness tonight, I also teach the two jazz ensembles and our new percussion ensemble at the high school as well. So later on in the school year, you'll have to come back out and see those ensemble performances too. I just want to take a moment to recognize all of the tremendous hard work that your students have done over the course of the semester. Along with these ensembles, they're involved in so many other things. And I don't know if you've heard, but the marching band has been extremely successful. They are moving on to state finals at Lucas Oil Stadium here in a couple weekends. So we are super excited. So of course, with all of that, we thought it would be a great idea to put on a fall concert on top. So, but yes, thank you so much for being here tonight. This next piece is called Ancient Flower. It's by a female composer, Yukiko Nishimura. And it was originally composed for string orchestra. So it's very lush sounding. And when it was arranged for a concert band, it turned out really, really beautiful and lyrical, and it kind of goes into this visual of a delicate flower and how fragile that is. So this has been a little bit of a challenge to work on with this group, but we hope you enjoy Ancient Flower.
Isn't that a beautiful piece of music? Yeah, it was very, very good. Very nice. Makes you feel good. We were hoping this concert would make you feel good. It's kind of a divisive time in our society, and hopefully that'll be over in a week, and and everybody can move on. But what's going on stage? This music and the language that music speaks, hopefully takes us away from that for a little bit, gives us a chance to express ourselves in a way that we cannot with our words, and it's just meant to be a lot of fun music tonight, something that makes you feel good. So this last piece of music that this group is going to play is the North-South College All-Stars March, composed by Henry Fillmore, a really famous American composer, probably only second to John Philip Sousa in terms of marches and significance. So a little bit about Fillmore. Was born in Cincinnati, was kind of a musical prodigy, was playing 5-6 instruments in elementary school. His father was a composer of gospel hymns, and he owned a music publishing company where they made hymnals for churches. And Fillmore wanted to play the trombone. His father thought that was a horrible, evil instrument. Yeah, some of the trombones are nodding, that's why they were drawn to it as well. But Fillmore's mother snuck a trombone into the attic, and he took up the trombone and did not let his father know. He then started composing music for the circus, which you can imagine that was not going to be accepted by Dad either. So he had to use his pseudonym, and the pseudonym was Will Huff. That you will huff and huff and huff, and I'll still write my sacrilegious trombone music for the circus anyway. So, very, very famous American march composer. We hope you enjoy this. North-South College All-Stars. quick set change. All right, the Wind Symphony is going to be backstage, and the symphonic band is going to take their place out in the audience. And we're going to have a new setup in just a minute with the second half of the program. second half. Thank you for staying. we really appreciate that. This is that was a piece titled "Flying the Breeze" by a composer based out of London. I've worked with him a couple of times. Met him I don't know 20 years ago or so. Really amazing composer. This was originally commissioned by an ensemble in Japan with just some crazy strong players. So this was quite the endeavor to dive into this piece of music. A lot of notes. Maybe you heard all of those. All right, a lot of notes. They did a lovely job with that, and all of our soloists that had some really exposed and beautiful playing in that. So thank you for that. We're going to change the program order just a little bit. That was my error. We're going to actually, instead of going to the march, we're now going to perform for you with Soul Serene, which is listed third on your program. I want to tell you a little bit about this piece of music because I think it really will explain and give you some context for what you're about to hear. It's very beautiful. The title is taken from a line of a poem, a very famous poem, by John Worrell. About John Worrell. All right, so the poem is, "I've struggled hard for victory." This is just an excerpt. "In pride, although in pain, with soul serene and spirit free, and so I must again." And this is based upon a prisoner in the Andersonville prison who was a Union soldier that was captured and held there in a terrible prison. And it confronts a little bit of our nation's history. The composer uses the poem and the words of the shared to the prisoner in the next cell as inspiration for what this person was enduring, the terrible hardship that was put upon them, and their ability to make peace with that. And the work is really programmatic. There's a quote throughout of an Alleluia hymn. There are moments where the flutes are supposed to depict birds chirping and calm and serene moments. And then that same theme of the birds chirping turns into these giant trumpet bugle calls on the battlefield using the same notes, exactly the same rhythms, just performed completely differently. There's a lot of rudimental sounding like a Revolutionary War drum or gunfire on the battlefield coming from the percussion later on. And then at the end, you can hear his soul leave his body and ascend. And it's just a really moving piece of music and something that I think we've all enjoyed working on. All right, so we hope you enjoy this with Soul Serene by James David.
beautiful? Up next, we have a little bit of a change for you. This is a Sousa march, and if you know anything about John Philip Sousa, he wrote hundreds of marches, and at the time, this march, the Belle of Chicago, was about the ladies of Chicago, and it was not well received during its time, and it was criticized, and critics didn't like it. However, it has stood the test of time, and it became more popular over the years. You know, you can't always have a #1 hit, I guess. But we like it. It's a really fun march. This is the Belle of Chicago.
All right, before we play our final number, I just want to recognize and thank some people. There's quite a few notes. I know it's dark in here, but in the program we've listed quite a few folks that we wish to thank and acknowledge. So if we have any of the band staff here, which I believe we have quite a few, would you please stand up and accept a round of applause for all that you do for the band? Okay, there's some folks sitting there. I believe we have our Director Emeritus, Mr. Yankee. Are you here with us tonight? I'd like to recognize you as well. Jackson for all that she does for the band program and the performance department. And all of our tremendous families involved in the booster organization and behind the scenes, keeping us running, keeping us well fed, keeping us well clothed, all that you do to make the band a success and support these kids up here. Those of you that are involved, you become extended moms and dads, you know. We really appreciate all that you do to really help out and support the kids and give them the opportunities. There's no way this program could be as successful as it is without the great support of the families behind the scenes. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Don't we appreciate them? Yeah, you can give them a round of applause. I know I've said it a few times, but I could not be more proud of all that they do, all the hard work that they've put in. We were talking before we came out on stage about how lucky we are to be able to make really great music together and to get to do that every single day and have the opportunities and the resources that we have that most people only dream of. And to be able to share in this experience is going to make memories that will last a lifetime, and these folks will be friends forever. Okay, so we're going to play for you a piece called Through the Looking Glass. It's a very short work. It's 3 minutes if we play it fast enough. So set your watch over there, Mr. Yankee. We'll see how we do. He taught me a trick for that, and it's worked. The piece is based on Alice falling through the looking glass into Wonderland. It only uses 5 notes, but they are utilized in many, many different ways, and hopefully it's exciting for you to hear, and we'll send you home on a high note. All right, Through the Looking Glass.